Hello class. In this video I want to show you how to make a simple vector file based off of an image. This is coming at you from a request from a local elementary school. The teacher wants to make little um, bug silhouette shapes cut out of wood that she can use in her Strong Start class. And so currently, and I know this because my kid goes to her Strong Start program, but they currently have little shapes that they buy from like the dollar store, and they're paying like, I don't know, four for $1. And I think we can do much better than that for her. So what we're looking for is, um, let's see here. To give you an idea, we're looking at bug silhouettes or bug outlines. And we're going to say for laser cutting. And you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see, they're all over Etsy. I can, for a few dollars or more, buy a sheet of whatever. And these are specifically SVG files, which means they're vector files. And a vector file for us is good because it means our laser can read an SVG file and use it to cut or engrave something out. In our cases, we want to cut out an outline, not engrave. So I don't want to pay $4 for a sheet like this. In fact, there's probably too much detail on one of these insects for us anyways, but I do want just a basic bug shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one ourselves. Simple, oh, let's do this first. We'll go simple bug shape. And I'm going to pick a bug. I want you to pick a different bug. Let's see here. I want to do a butterfly. I kind of like that butterfly. I'm going to go a little different though. I like this one. This right here has a reasonable size, I don't know, thorax, whatever that's called. The middle of the butterfly, the actual body. So there's plenty of material here to laser cut out the outline and still have it hold its shape. So I want to play with this image right here. I will do this by going to my search bar, typing in snip, grab my snipping tool, hit new, and I'm just going to grab this shape. Because not that we're going to use this file right here so much, but we will use it as a template to start tracing. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to, if you haven't done so already in this class, I don't think we've done it yet. We're going to go grab some free software for image editing, and the one that I like to use is called Inkscape. Inkscape is great because it's open source, it's free, always will be free. So if you are using it for the first time, go ahead and figure out which latest stable version works for your OS system on your laptop and get that up and running. I already have it up and running, so here it is. I'm just going to open it up. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Now we're going to go here. I already have the software open, so I don't need to go new, but I do want to go down to import. And I want to go grab that image that I just snipped. So I'm going to save this somewhere where I can find it. I like to save it in downloads because I clean out my downloads file regularly. So butterfly snip. It's going to want to save file type. It wants to change the file type to PNG, JPEG, or GIF. These are all raster files. It's, you got pixels with a certain resolution that's fixed. That's okay. Um, Now that that's saved, I can import that raster file. I look through my downloads. Butterfly snip image, PNG file. All right. And default settings, great. Here is my raster file. Now raster file, like I said, is a pixelated image. There is a fixed number of pixels. In fact, I can look on here and figure that out. I switch my unit of measurements from millimeters to pixels. We can determine, okay, this is about 284 pixels wide and about 228 pixels tall of a raster file. And that's great, but turn this back to millimeters. I want a vector file though. A vector file, we go from node to node to node to node to node. And so to do that, we're just going to make a new outline image, and we'll use this raster file underneath it as a separate layer that we can trace and follow. So on the left, the first thing we're going to do to create our vector image is we're going to find this star polygon tool, and we're going to make a star. Ooh. All right, this is now, can text. Awesome. Okay, so now we have this image right here. That's a star, and we don't really want a star. We want a butterfly. So we're going to turn this star into a butterfly by first making sure that we have this object selected. We'll go up to Path, and we'll click Object to Path. And now we're taking this object, or this star, and turning it into, well, we're kind of vectorizing it. We're turning it into a path. So if I go over here and go below the cursor, click on the node tool. Now that it's a path, it takes every vertice of this star as a node. And now we can manipulate each node separately, and it'll adjust the shape of the star, which is now just some polygon. And we can make any shape we want, which is kind of cool. What we want to do though, there's not enough nodes here to make a butterfly, and that's okay. Oops, we don't need to spline here. If you go on any line segment between two nodes, and notice the cursor changes at some point, when the cursor changes, I'm on the line segment, I just double click and voila, a new node appears. And now we have all the tools we need to make this star look like a butterfly. All right, so we're going to go here. So I can see what I'm doing better. I'm going to mess with this polygon, this purple shape. I want to make the border, I can leave the border purple, but I want the inside to be clear. So we're going to go to fill and stroke option over here. Fill is the middle, and we're going to make that transparent. And now the stroke is the border of our object, and we're just going to make that some color that's fully visible. And I don't think that worked the way I thought it was going to work. Let's try that again. We want oh, um, the fill to be invisible. We want a solid stroke. Let's make this red. And we'll go stroke style. Oh, this might be the problem. We can't see because it's too thin. Let's go 0.02. Let's go 0.2. There it is. My stroke style was too skinny. Okay, so now stroke style just means, okay, how thick is this border going to be? We have 0.2 millimeters thick of a border. When it was 0.02 millimeters thick, it was just too small to see. It's practically invisible. If we zoom in, by the way, holding down Control on my keyboard and right-clicking, I can move my canvas around. But if we zoom in, we can actually see the 0.02 millimeter width. But again, I want a little bigger. So, ooh, problem. I can get it, but it's kind of hard to get my image here. Um, Another way to select this image is I can go over to this window, click on this icon as the layers icon, and I can grab individual layers from in this. So right now we have two layers. We have the image, and we have that path that we created. Remember, we turned our star polygon into a path. So from selecting the path, we can then go back to object property, object, fill and stroke, and we can go back and tweak the settings there. Okay, anyways, back to our butterfly. Now begins the tedious process of turning this weird shape into a butterfly. And this is where you turn your Spotify playlist on and spend a good 20 minutes adding and moving nodes. Notice how much I zoom in will determine how easy it is to make a precise silhouette. We'll go a few more. Don't want to do the whole thing. But we can start making this vector layer look like a butterfly. Need more nodes, double click, add more nodes. If we want to go a little more detail, then we can scroll and zoom in. I'm going to hold down control and scroll on the mouse pad, and voila, zooming in. And now when we're this close, we can get a little more detail on our nodes. We can add some curves, boom, boom. And we can kind of see we're really just making a bunch of straight line segments. But then we zoom back out, and it actually looks pretty smooth. And so what I would like you to do is pick a shape, pick a bug, find a good template, raster file, download it, upload it into Inkscape, and just start making your vector. Once you're done, there's a way to export these files. Ooh, I'm really getting this now. This is really fun. There we go. Okay, I got one wing done. I'll finish this off video. So here is, let's say we finished, we got enough nodes, we made the entire butterfly, and it looks great. We are now ready to export this thing and get it ready for cutting on the CNC. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go hit Export. And now down here, we've got options here. PNG, don't forget, it's a raster file. We don't want that, we want a vector file. So we're going to go, hit the little folder icon. Brings us to our Windows menu. Where do you want to save it? Go to Downloads like before, but I'm going to change the name to Butterfly Vector. When you name things, you want it to be very short and very descriptive. That's the rule of thumb. But then we're going to change the file type. PNG is a raster file. We want to make it a vector file. And so SVG is our go-to here. Notice there's Inkscape SVG and there's just plain SVG. Inkscape SVG is a SVG file optimized for working in Inkscape. So if you plan on using this image again, like you want to edit it more or whatever, I would say make a copy of an Inkscape SVG and save that. But for our purposes, we also want just a plain SVG. So I'm going to save another one. Hopefully it'll recognize it as two different files. Oh, nope. It wants me to replace the other one. That's okay. We'll just keep the plain SVG. So now, when we export that, we should be able to go to our downloads and let's see, this one is a HTML document. This one is a PNG file. So what's happening is it recognizes a PNG file and it can read it and put a thumbnail up. But it doesn't recognize an SVG file, and that's okay. That just means that on this computer that I'm using right now, there is not a default program set up to read this file type. And so it says, okay, I don't know what file type it is, but it is some kind of HTML document. Great. That is what we're looking for. When we have this, we are then ready to move over to laser cutting. And so this is software that we have in our back computer. And we can import our vector image right into here. These are some settings we'll mess with, but voila. There is my incomplete butterfly. And notice if we hide the original PNG file, let's just get that and move it out of the way. Our vector shape lines up with what we see for laser cutting. Try to do two windows at once. So there you go. So here's it messing with our image editor. Here's what it's going to look like when we use the laser cutter. And that's the next step will be for a different time. But this is what I have for you. pick a different bug than a butterfly, and good luck.